All right, welcome back to another episode of Johnny on the Track. And today I'm joined by an awesome guest. First episode of 2022. So I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. Hope you guys have had a good holiday. Whatever you were celebrating, hopefully it went well. Things are crazy out there, but that's why we've got episodes like this to keep people entertained. So without further ado, my guest today finished second in the points this year on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. He had some huge wins. He won the Spring Sizzler at Stafford, also won up at Riverhead and New York. He had a career high 9 top fives. He also ran select Xfinity races for our Motorsports this year. And then finally, perhaps some of the biggest news with so much in the next gen car and tracks and sponsors and all that news. My guest here found a way to butt in there. With the formation of Emerling-Gase Motorsports. He is Patrick Emerling, and he is the newest NASCAR owner. Patrick, first of all, congratulations on that. That was some big news. And second of all, man, just thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. That's something, I'm very excited about moving forward here. So definitely can't wait to get started in that.
Absolutely. We'll get into that, obviously. But I always like to take it just to learn more about my guests. So obviously racing, usually for most people, not all, but starts at a young age. Reading up on you, I think it did. So talk to me a little bit about how you got into racing, how it all started, and kind of what impact it had on you as a young kid.
Yeah, so basically it started out as, me and my dad at the racetrack. We would, race dirt bikes and race go-karts for a handful of years. And then it kind of just progressed from there. A friend of ours, they had a Sportsman Modified, which was similar to like a SK Modified in New England there. And then, got into that and then just kind of progressed. And as my dad, he was a really big race fan and sponsored a lot of race cars, throughout the years, even before I was born. So with him being in the racing and, got me into racing, we just had a lot of fun, racing over the years here.
Yeah. So, and I know that at least in the Whelen Modified Tour and obviously now in Xfinity, you kind of ran your own team. So like when did, right? I'm right about that, right?
Yes. Yeah. With the, with the modified and everything we did up until now. Yep.
Yeah. So how did you get into that? And kind of was like, when you started, was that kind of the only option, was to just like pull what you had together and let it roll?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we did partner with some people along the way. Jan and Mike Leedy, of course. We partnered with them a while back, and we've been great friends ever since, and kind of always kind of stuck racing together.
Absolutely. And I talked about this year early in the introduction, 9 top fives on the mod tour this year. Kind of like a breakout year for you. And obviously I've been watching you for the past couple of years at Stafford and when I can on Track Pass, which is no longer there. But what do you think kind of contributed to this kind of breakout year you had?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things. Back when we started running part-time, I feel like we ran the Whelen Modified Tour a lot more competitively. But then we did have a tough 2 years where we just, our last, before this year, our last 2 full-time years, went back running the tour full-time. It was just really tough years. And, the year 2019, the pandemic year there, we finally got I think a lot of our equipment up to snuff, but then we just had really fast cars every week, but we just didn't capitalize and just didn't execute. Like we just, it was one of them seasons where if it could go wrong, it would go wrong.
Yeah.
And so, and that was 2019, and then, or that was 2020, but 2021, we kind of just did the same thing and just tried doing it better. And, and here we've been showing up to the racetrack with really fast cars and, being in contention to win, a lot of races. That's kind of what we show up to do. So, so at our standpoint as a team, it's how we should run. If we don't show up to a track and we have, a fast car qualify up front and, be in contention to win at the end of the race, and we didn't do our job, right? So that's our, so that was the big thing. So we're kind of our own biggest critics there, where if
That's
things
good.
we show up to the track and things don't go right, we're pissed off. So I mean, we might not seem like it because we're a real laid back group of guys, but we really are. So if if we're not showing up in contention, and contend to win races.
Yeah, man, that's how it should be. You should always be your biggest critic, because you kind of know what's inside, what you've got, and the talent that you have. So speaking of talent, I try to tell people who don't watch much modified, the talent level and talent pool that you guys bring on a weekly basis is just loaded and stacked. You're going up against guys like Ryan Preece, Doug Kobe, Woody Pitcat, Chase Dowling, even Ryan Newman was out there running this year with you guys. Talk to me about just what it's Justin Bonsignor. I forgot if I mentioned him, friend of the show, by the way, Justin Bonsignor. But anyway, so you're going up against that talent level every week. Talk to me about what that's like. And also, do you think that's prepared you for now running in the Xfinity series against some really talented guys there as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's, like you said, I mean, there's quite the talent pool. And, when we show up to Wheel and Modified Tour races, I mean, the field is stacked. I mean, you have, I think there's an easily 15 cars that are the best, some of the best equipment you can buy. In my opinion, you have or 20 cars that, at some of the bigger races where it's all the best of the best equipment. And you don't see that in a lot of other, some other forms of racing. And, again, with the talent pool, I mean, you have, it might not seem, even, someone who's finishing 20th on a regular basis, they can go back to their home track and still win.
Yeah.
Right? And
yep.
So, and just because someone didn't have success in the Wheel Modified Tour, I mean, a lot of, they can still go to their home track and win races. So it's just, it's a very competitive series. And you're running against, Justin, Doug, and between them two guys, and you have, it's a very hard series. It's a really competitive series.
What I thought was so awesome this year was, a guy like Doug, who's been around for so long, had so many dominating years on the tour, finally like show people like, this is what short track racing, local stuff, Connecticut, New England, wherever you are, that kind of grassroots racing kind of thing. Doug Kobe was able to go out at Stafford in an SRX race, put on a show. There's a guy coming, I think it was like Greg Biffle, he basically got like a new car with new tires. Doug Kobe's on old tires, beats him, and then he goes into, I think it was a GMS truck, and finished like top 12 in the NASCAR truck series, which I just thought was so cool, like to show what you guys are made of and what the fans love to watch, So anyway, that's my little rant about supporting you guys and what you do. But so we talked about a little off the air. You want to clear something up here. So I'm going to ask a question right now, Patrick. Are you going to be running the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour in 2022?
Yep, absolutely. And
that's the answer we want to hear.
So there was a couple words misconstrued around, or I don't know, some other, but in a certain article. But that there was a yeah, because I had a couple calls. Yeah, when I saw that article, I was like, oh no, that's kind of not what that wasn't what I was trying to say. Um, but yeah, it was unlikely that I was going to have the opportunity to probably run every single race on the Wheel Modified Tour, but there might be, it looks like there might be some conflicts, but it's hard to say right now. But we'll kind of see as we get a little bit closer to the beginning of the season.
Absolutely. Well, whatever it is, however many races, we'll be rooting for you. That's for sure. Talk to me about, this year, right? You had to go on a mod, an open mod, and then you would have to race in an Xfinity car. So how are you able to just like hop in another car and like figure it out quickly? Is there a learning curve? Is it kind of like, I can just jump in anything and I can figure it out?
No, there is definitely a learning curve, and then there's a lot of skills in those cars that it you don't there's a lot of things you do in those cars that don't apply to modifieds, right?
Yeah.
With a lot of the way you drive in traffic with aero and just stuff like that, and running mile and a halves. And there's a lot of skills in modifieds that aren't as, I guess, crucial in those cars. But the one thing, for example, I ran my first mile and a half in Xfinity car at Kansas earlier this year, or towards the end of last year. And, honestly, it's kind of one of them with no practice, no qualifying. You almost have to look at it as using it as a practice, unfortunately. And, getting used to going in the corner at 109 miles an hour against the wall, that's just something you're not used to racing a modified, but it's once you kind of develop a feel. And I feel like towards the end of the race, I felt really good in the car. It was just towards the beginning. And I mean, finish wise, I mean, we had some issues. So we had a hole punch through the splitter we had to fix, and we had a tear off flow on the splitter. So we couldn't get we couldn't get back on the lead lap. But we did finish 15th on the lead lap. Or if we were on the lead lap, but it ended up 23rd, but it would have, was position 15. So I guess that was pretty promising after feeling comfortable. I probably felt right at home, but it took a few laps, right? Just like anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can just imagine going, especially like, just like you said, like you're doing short tracks on the modified tour, and then to go to a mile and a half where you're going 190. I can only imagine. But let's now talk about the Xfinity series. So the deal was announced, I want to say, I don't know, a couple of days ago, that you will be a co-owner with Joey Gase in the Xfinity series. So again, congratulations on that. That's awesome news. But talk to me about how this all came together. Because I think it was like a couple months ago, it was announced that it was just going to be Joey Gase's team. And then here you come and as a part owner. So talk to me about how that all happened.
Yeah. So, like on my end, it kind of started from last year where, we actually owned a couple of Xfinity cars, and then we ran, as a 23 number through our Motorsports. And so, some of the, the equipment was, was stuff that we owned. And so this year I was looking to, obviously do something, right. And actually I was put in touch with Joey Gase there, and we met, and we both had the same goals, both had the same vision on what we kind of wanted to do. And then, in that sport, there's a lot of little things going on as far as, there's a lot of benefits to having a full-time car, right? And so in that series, with the bonus money, etc. So there's just a lot of so there's a lot going on down there, and it just kind of worked out where if just kind of worked out to team up like that. So it's one of them things where I think it's it's kind of a win-win situation. And it was funny because a lot of the equipment that I would have needed to run, he already had, and a lot of equipment, and then some of the stuff that he needed, the stuff that I had. So it was just, put together a group effort, and then together we had, we were able to put it together with just what we had. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And like we said, we'll be rooting for you. So can't wait to see. So let's talk about, I know you mentioned like his goals, his visions kind of matched up with yours. So what are those goals and visions? Are you guys expecting to go out this year, win a race, maybe to make the playoffs? Like what is it? Or maybe it's just, we just want to show people that we can race and run with these guys out there.
Yeah, so it's going to be, it's going to be an uphill battle. First year with, it's going to be our first year starting out here. So, you have a lot of teams that with a lot bigger budgets who've been doing it a lot longer. So are we expecting to go out and win? In a couple situations, it could be possible. But we just want to, we say one of our goals would be to, show up and be a top 20 car. And I think that'd be something that would, the equipment's good. I think on Joey's end of racing, he's putting together a program. He's planning on putting together a program that's better than any program he'd driven in his past. So I think what we're putting together is going to be, I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Let's go. That's great. And how about you? How many races you think we can expect to see you this year running in the Xfinity?
We'll see. That will kind of depend on quite a few factors. We would like to, get find a primary sponsor. Obviously that would, that would change things up. But we'll see. Like I said, I don't have any. I don't have an amount of races committed yet, but it's looking like a partial schedule. But yeah, we'll kind of see how many in the near future here.
All right, perfect. Well, like I said, man, we're definitely rooting for you. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Top 20s, let's do it. Top 20s, we're writing it down. Let's see as many as we can get. All right, so I always end the show here with a game. We got something fun. I think you'll enjoy it. We were talking a little bit before the show. It's basically called This or That. I'm going to give you two things, just and you're gonna tell me what you prefer, which you like more, and why. So we'll start here. It's mixed. We got some NASCAR stuff. We got some shows and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see what you think. So first, Bristol or Martinsville?
I'd have to go with Bristol there.
And why? Is that because you won there?
Yeah, that and a little bit because there's I feel like there's quite a few other tracks that are, short tracks that kind of have similar principles to Martinsville, where Bristol, I think it's its totally own track and there's nothing else like it.
Absolutely. I'll agree with you there. Although I love the paperclip, there's nothing like the Coliseum there at Bristol. All right. You'll like this one. Xfinity or Mod Tour? You got to make the hard decision.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I guess there can be a lot of angles to that question, but as far as that's a tough one. I'll have to leave that one unanswered right now. And then we'll come back at the end, and then we'll come up with something there.
All right. Fair enough. Hey, they're not easy questions. All right, let's get off the NASCAR stuff just for right now. Star Wars or Harry Potter?
Star Wars all the way.
All right, good. Yeah, absolutely. Same here. Star Wars. And I'll answer the second one. I got to go Mod Tour. Although I love the Xfinity, something about being able to see that on a week basis, which I get to do in Connecticut. All right, Friends or The Office?
Oh, Friends, of course.
Oh, really?
Oh, Friends. As far as honestly, I've never really watched both of them.
Okay, all right.
I don't. They both seem a little. I don't know. They're both kind of funny, right?
Yeah, they're both.
I never really paid attention. I saw that. I always seen them on, but I haven't. Haven't really paid attention too much. But I think The Office, because that has like Steve Carell in it, right?
Yeah, one of the goats.
So
sure.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Last finishing last place or finishing second place?
Well, no, probably I'd say second
All right.
because because at least you were you're competitive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I see. Like, I feel like some people would be like, "Oh, I literally hate not winning." So I'll honestly take like the last place rather than coming in second. But for me, I'm same as you, man. A top five is a top five. You only get those so often.
Exactly. Yeah, a good run's a good run, right?
Exactly. Beer or wine?
I'd say beer for sure.
All right. Yeah, same. What you got to go to?
What's that?
You got to go to of a certain beer?
I don't. I don't drink too much, so
All right. Fair
um,
enough.
yeah, just Coors or yeah, whatever you go to a craft beer place or whatever, and whatever's whatever's pretty hoppy, whatever they recommend usually.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Waiter's choice. All right. And
Yeah.
then, all right. Final one. Again, you might not answer this one. Maybe you will. Bonsignor or Kobe?
Oh man, that's no, they both can wheel. I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that one.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
They both do a good job. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Me too. I'm not going to answer that one. Even though Justin's a friend of the show, we're not going to answer that one. But now you're a friend of the show as well. And hey, man, like I said, I'm always at Stafford. So hopefully we'll see you this year there. Don't know for sure, but man, I if I can get to meet you, absolutely. Let's do that.
absolutely, yeah. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Like I said, we're rooting for you. We're wishing for the best. Let's get some top 20s. All right.
Absolutely.